Welcome to the Diamond Spotlight interview. I am Barbara Beckley, the founder of the Diamond Factor LLC, where the mission is to empower women to understand their PPD, their purpose, passion, and drive. And this platform is to make sure to increase their visibility and shine like a diamond to the world. Today, we are spotlighting Marci Brockmann, is a multi-passionate person, unconventionally combining all aspects of her creativity life into one hard to put in a box venture. I love that. Marci has been a professional photographer, a graphic artist, a public relations assistant, a fundraiser for a nonprofit, an artist with her own online art gallery business. All this, and now this summer, she has added author and entrepreneur to the list. Oh my God. Welcome, Marci, to the Diamond Factor Spotlight interview.
Thank you so much. And you can add 25 years of teaching high school English to that list too. So.
There you go. She's superwoman, I'm telling you. Wow. Oh, we don't have no time in the day, but you found it. Wow. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me here, Barbara. It's great. It's great. It's great. Yeah, well, that kind of list happens when you're a Gemini who can't decide what she wants to do. So she kind of does everything, you know. I'll try this for a while, and if I like it, I'll stick with it. If not, I'll do something else. So.
Yeah, it makes life interesting. I always tell people that once we might as well just try a little dib and dab a little what we could do and be great at everything you do. So I have to just give you kudos right now for, doing those different, you multiple everywhere facet, and you do it so well in each area. So, I'm learning from you already. I'm learning from you already.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. So we're going to get right into it. Let's honestly get to know you a little bit more. So I know you host an amazing show on the YouTube called What's Up Marcy, where you talk about whole body and soul wellness, mental health, and etc. Explain what inspired you to start this platform.
Okay, well, so we have that I do all of these things, right? Yes, so throughout teaching English and stuff for so long, you find a way to connect with your students. When you can connect on a human level, then everybody shines. And so for so many years, I've been telling all these stories about my past and about my family, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept hearing from kids over and over again, all right, so what's up today? What are you going to tell us today? And as I was sharing the stories, that kids just kept saying, you have to write a book. So I listened to my kids and I wrote a book. Wow. And so while I was in the process of writing my memoir, which is called Permission to Land, Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging, which I'll tell you about in a second, I took what they kept saying, like, what's up, Mrs. Brockmann, and I became What's Up Marcy. And so I decided that what I was going to do is start telling some of the stories that I shared in my memoir, talking about expressive writing and journaling, talking about nutrition and healthcare, wellness, and how to deal with anxiety and mental health, etc. And so I offer sometimes interviews, sometimes just my little monologues about certain things. Every Sunday I do a book talk because I'm an English teacher. Why not? And I talk about books and authors that inspire me and why. And so, yeah, so that's how it started. And I have a blog that goes along with it so that I can include some more long form writing that isn't video based. Some people prefer that. So that's also called What's Up Marcy at whatsupmarcy.com. Why not?
I love it. It's so catchy. What's Up Marcy? Just hearing it, I would love to go. To go to your YouTube, just listen to you. So you did well by putting that title there to get people's interest.
My students chose it.
Yeah. See, it's always an inspiration. That's why I always ask people what really inspired you. You never know where your inspiration comes from other people or other children. So I know you mentioned in your bio, you mentioned that you're a survivor of mental illness and addiction, emotional abuse and neglect.
Right. Yeah. I grew up with two narcissistic parents, but my mom was an undiagnosed bipolar for her whole life. And when she died at 69, she died of the adverse effects of opiate addiction. And so after so many, many years of trauma. So I grew up sort of parenting myself and being super anxious and having my own addiction to people pleasing. So I didn't turn to drugs, and I didn't turn to things that I could, all these detrimental, bad things that I could have gotten into. Instead, I sort of internalized the difficulty I felt growing up with my mom. You know, like at any moment, she could either be June Cleaver or Snow White, or she could turn on a dime and be Cruella de Vil. You know, like there was no way. I never knew which mom I was getting. And so I always felt like it was my job to make her happier, or that I wanted to keep her as even keeled and as happy and positive as possible. So I learned how to sublimate my own needs and my own desires and my own inner voice, and just do what I perceived as a kid would make her happy. And that unfortunately became the template for how I built relationships in my life. Built relationships with friends, with coworkers, with bosses, especially with men. And I, in my first husband, I married like the carbon copy of my mom. And it felt like home to me because it was the same traumatic template that I had grown up with. It took me 12 years to get out of that, and finally realize, after being gaslit by him the same way I had been gaslit by my mother, that I had a choice. You know, and what saved me really, Barbara, is very interesting, was motherhood. Because I probably would have continued my toxic relationship with my mother and my toxic relationship with my first husband, if not for my kids. And, you know, you hear men and women say they can't get divorced because they have to stay in it for the family. They have to stay in it for the kids.
Yeah.
But there was a moment there in the summer of 2006 where I was just sitting up in the middle of the night, and I had this epiphany. If I don't want this marriage for myself, would I want this marriage for my children? Would I want them to be in this relationship? And the answer was no, obviously. I was miserable. Would I want my daughter to expect that this is how a man should treat her? Would I want my son to grow up thinking that this is how you treat women? The answer to all three questions was no. And so I knew, as the sun was rising that day, I knew I had to get divorced, not only to save myself, but to save my children.
Wow.
I never looked back. And through my own personal growth and learning, just working my way through that process, made me trust my inner voice in a way that I never had before. And I realized that by claiming my life for me and filling my own cup so that it was overflowing, I was also filling up my children and showing them what the world could be, and what love could be, and what independence could be, and how to fill their cups up for themselves. And then, I mean, that's the most profound thing I think a parent could teach their kids, you know, and emulate for them. And then that gave me the strength to make a hard line with my mom. And unfortunately, she didn't choose the path that I hoped she would choose. She chose the drugs because the addiction had changed who she was. And there was nothing I could do about that. I could only change my response and protect my kids. And that was that. So I gave her a choice. She chose the bad door, you know, she went through the wrong one. And that was the end of our relationship with her, unfortunately. And then she died 18 months later. And I felt a lot of guilt. You know, the daughter felt a lot of guilt, but the mom didn't, because I had to protect my kids and stop the intergenerationality of addiction and mental illness, which I did. My kids are fine.
Wow.
They're kids, but they're fine.
You just gave me chills. You just gave me chills, Marcy, because just, you know, I always tell people we always have those choices in life.
Right.
And, you know, to make the decision, you know, go down this round, that lane or whatever. But, you know, you not only chose for yourself and, you know, for yourself in life, but you chose it for your children. And you realize that, you know, it had to have a difference. Something has to change here. It can't be the norm. And I just commend you for that. Thank you. I just got chills. And, you know, this is what I love about bringing, I call all the women Queen Diamond. So just to let you know that I call you Queen Diamond, because,
I like that.
because we are queens, and the
Absolutely.
things that we deal with and the stories in our life, I always tell people they're so awesome, where you give hope. So Marcy, thank you for giving hope within your life, within your children, also right now with the audience. You're giving them hope if they're dealing with certain things like that.
And
Yeah.
this is the story that I tell in the memoir. You know, I
Oh,
leave nothing out. I start out with my relationship with my mom and that fight to end all fights that ended our relationship and why. And then I backtrack. And I've been keeping journals for 35 years. I started writing in a journal in 1985. And I have an entire gigantic Rubbermaid box filled with journal books and probably several gigabytes worth of hard drive space. Because sometimes I do it either way. And so I went back through all 35 years of my journals while I was writing this book, so that I didn't trust my 52-year-old memory of things that happened 40 years ago or 30 years ago or 20 years ago. But I have my voice when I was younger coming back to say, no, you're full of malarkey right now. That's not how it was, you know? So I'm hard on the people in my life, but I think I'm harder on myself because I want to make sure that I'm telling or retelling the story as close to how I could ever possibly tell it. And so it takes us all the way up to 2017, really, or now. And it ends with a happy ending, and you'll have to read it to find out what the happy ending is. So Permission to Land, Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging. You can get a signed copy, personally signed by me, at my website at marcibrockmann.com. Or you can buy them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever books are sold. And then just this week, I got this copy yesterday. I wrote a second book this summer. I've been busy during quarantine. To go along with the memoir, called Permission to Land, Personal Transformation Through Writing. So here, what I did was gave the readers over 100 pages of writing prompts and questions to answer, to guide them through excavating their own memories, figuring out how they feel about themselves and their lives, what they love about themselves and their lives, how they deal with conflict, how they envision their future and what they want their dreams to be, and basically walking them through the entire process I went through when writing my memoir. And so what I'm giving everybody today, and I just put this up last night for free, is an expressive writing workshop, because the psychologists call journal writing expressive writing, because you're expressing how you feel in your heart. You're expressing your true and inner authentic self. So what I did was I assembled like 11 quotes, 11 writing prompts from the expressive writing journal into an online workshop that I just recorded last night, actually, because I wanted your listeners to have it today. So if they go to my YouTube channel, What's Up Marcy, you can see the video for the expressive writing workshop. And it's not meant to do in one sitting. You're meant to stop and start the video and restart it again when it's comfortable for you. The thing that I tell my students all the time is that when you're doing this type of writing, you should commit, you should commit yourself to writing for 10 or 20 minutes at a time. Or longer, but not shorter than that. And then once you start and your pen is moving on your paper or you're typing, you don't stop for the entire time. You time yourself with your phone or your Alexa or whoever you're going to time yourself with. And for the entire time you're writing. And so you're going to stop and start the video as you go, work your way through. It's a Google slide production that I videotape using Zoom. And so attached to the bottom of the video is the link to the Google Slides, so you can download those yourself too. Just as a little taste to see what expressive writing can do for you.
Good gifts. Good gifts.
Why not? And then if you want the rest of it, if you realize that you really like it, then this book's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble or my website also.
Awesome. Well, Marcy, thank you for sharing that, because you went right into what I was going to ask about your book. So I'm glad that you went
natural,
there, because
sorry, I talk a lot.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I wanted you to talk about that. I wanted people to know about both of your books that are out there to help them. But with that, just one more question about both of them.
Sure.
What is like the main takeaway? I know you mentioned about the journaling and then, other thing about the transformation and everything, but what is like the main thing that you want the authors to get out? I mean, the audience to get out of your books?
It's a really good question. My big main message, the big main takeaway is that we have to learn how to trust ourselves, that you don't need anybody else's permission to go for your dreams, to love yourself, to be authentically who you are at any given moment. And like you say, shine like a diamond and be who you are supposed to be, who you are innately inside. And so the book is basically my process of trying to figure out how to do that. And then I realized that the only person who can really teach me how to do that is me.
Yeah.
And that we give ourselves permission just by the sheer fact that we are here living our lives. So that's it. Be yourself unabashedly and go conquer the world.
Wow. Well, I'm still gonna ask you this question. So,
Sure.
I just want there's any lasting words that you would like to leave with the audience, and then just let them know again how they can contact you.
Don't let other people tell you how you need to behave. Don't let other people's behavior or other people's agenda derail you from where you want to go. You don't need anybody else's permission to do anything you want in your life, assuming it's legal and good for you. Let's put that in there. Let's put that in there. So I call it permission to land because when I was at my most lost, the metaphor I had in my head was that I was an airplane endlessly circling an airport runway, waiting for permission to land. So at my most lost, I was looking for someone else to give me the permission to take what I need in this world to feel good and happy. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that I figured out that I'm the one that gives me permission. So the permission to land, searching for the love, the home, and the belonging I deserved and wanted was up to me. And it's also up to you and everyone else.
Powerful.
That's
Powerful.
my take home.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marci. So everybody,
so much,
we're going to
Barbara.
make sure, well, thank you. And we're going to make sure that when we post this everywhere, where I'm going to find everywhere to post it, is that we put, where to contact you, where to get the freebies, and just, and I also ask the audience out there, I bring the diamonds out here because I ask you to support them. I ask you to support them. They're doing these things. They want to reach out to you. They want you to, they have services, they have products. Please reach out to them. I mean, look at Marci. I mean, she is phenomenal. So you really want to just get to know her a little bit more. And through her services and products, you will really love the relationship building with her. So Marci,
Absolutely.
Thank you again for allowing the spotlight to spotlight you in your business today. And I wish you continued success in your life and your business.
Thank you, Barbara. I wish the same for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Queen Diamond.
Queen Diamond.
So those who
are effervescent.
I know that listening, thank you for joining us another special edition of the Diamond Factor Spotlight interview. You can join the Facebook community, Diamond Factor LLC Development Within You. And if you wish to be spotlighted, just like Marci, the Queen today, please contact me at Messenger under the Facebook page or call 262-344-1000. And remember that you have a diamond factor in you, your purpose, passion, and drive, because you are very important. You were not put on this earth by accident. You put on this earth for a reason and for your gifts that are in you. So I will see you at the next Diamond Spotlight interview. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.